우리가 알고 있는 예수님의 이야기는 하나님께서 아브라함을 선택하셔서 이스라엘 민족을 이루시고 그들을 통해 세상을 구원하려고 하셨지만 이스라엘은 끊임없이 하나님을 거부했고 하나님에 대한 불순종과 실패로 이어지는 악순환이 지속되자 이 땅에 하나님의 나라를 세우기 위해 예수님을 이 땅에 보내셨습니다. 그리고 예수님은 이 땅을 사시면서 하나님의 나라가 이 땅에 임했다 라고 선포하시고 가르치시고 또한 병든 자들을 치유하셨습니다. 예수님은 하나님의 나라를 살아가셨고 하나님의 나라 그 자체셨습니다. 유대인들은 예수님을 통하여 로마로부터의 정치적, 군사적 독립을 꿈꾸며 다윗 왕조의 회복을 기대했지만 예수님은 이미 하나님의 나라가 이 땅에 임하였으며 자신은 인간의 죄를 대신해서 십자가에 죽고 다시 부활한다고 말씀하시며 유대인들이 생각하는 것이 틀렸다는 것을 계속 이야기하셨습니다. 이러한 예수님을 향해 대제사장들과 서기관들은 신성모독이라는 죄명으로 예수님은 십자가에 못이 박혔지만 예수님은 부활하셨습니다. 예수님의 십자가 죽음과 부활을 통해 하나님과 인간의 장애물인 죄의 문제가 해결되어 하나님이 왕이 되시는 하나님 나라가 이 땅에서 시작되었고 이를 통해 유대인과 이방인 모두에게 하나님의 백성이 되는 길을 열어주셨습니다. 예수님은 제자들에게 땅 끝까지 이르러 이 복음을 전하며 증인이 되라고 명령하시고 하늘에 오르시어 하나님 우편에서 이 세상을 다스리게 됩니다. 여기까지가 보통 우리들이 알고 있는 간단한 예수님에 관한 이야기입니다. 하지만 예수님에 관한 이 이야기가 사실 천문학과 태양과 달 그리고 우리 인류의 육체 내부에서 일어나는 일과 관련된 이야기라면 어떨까요? 자, 그럼 이 남성이 주장하는 내용들을 들어봅시다.
So I would say that most people know the story of Jesus. Did you know that on December the 21st, the sun goes through a constellation called Crux, also known as Cross, where it is crucified, where the sun dies. Now, December 21st is the shortest and the darkest day of the year. The sun has died. Now, for the next 3 days, the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, this is what's known as the winter solstice. And the sun is dead and in the tomb until December 25th. Christmas, where the sun begins its upward trajectory. Now this does have a double meaning because it represents the Jesus coming out of the tomb, but it also represents Jesus being born because these things are never just one thing, they're always multi-layered. So 30 days after December 25th, the sun is in Aquarius. 30 years after Jesus is born, he enters into the river and gets baptized by John the Baptist. John the Baptist is the man of the water. Aquarius is the water bearer. After Jesus/the sun gets baptized, it moves on through Pisces, doing all of the spiritual work, and then it gets to Aries, where it becomes the offering to God, the sacrifice. The ancients called it the Ram of God, come to take away the cold of the winter. Christians later changed that to the Lamb of God, come to take away the sins of the world. Because while I said that the sun traveling through Pisces after Aquarius represents the spiritual work between the baptism and the crucifixion, it also represents the time after the resurrection, all the way up to that Aries ascension, when Jesus ascended to the heavens. Okay, Santa Claus. There is a part of the brain called the Santa Claustrum. On the day that the moon goes into your sun sign, the Santa Claustrum will release a drop of fluid that goes all the way down your spine and sits at the very bottom, at the fusion of 5 vertebrae called the stone. This is why in the story of Jacob he laid his head on a stone. So from the Santa Claustrum, the Santa Claus goes down your chimney, chi in me, all the way down to the bottom. And if you follow the exact steps that come from observing the story of Jesus and watching the sun move through the zodiac, you will activate the right hemisphere of your brain. This is why Jesus said, cast your net to the right side. This is why when the sun is in Leo and it is King of Kings and Lord of Lords, it sits in the eastern sky, the right side. Because on the day that the moon goes into your sun sign, that drop of fluid goes down and you have to raise it all 33 levels of vertebrae. This is why Jesus died at 33, because at the top of the 33rd vertebrae, there's a nerve junction. There's 2 nerves that come together, making the shape of a cross. You have to raise the Christos, Christ oil. Oil is an anagram for Leo. Leo is the sun. You have to raise this oil, all 33 levels of vertebrae, let it get crucified on the cross where it'll go to the pituitary gland, which represents the feminine, and it secretes milk. And also the pineal gland. The pineal represents the masculine, and it secretes honey. The land of milk and honey, this is the promised land, spoken about in the Old Testament. The Israelites had to wander around in the desert for 40 years before they could go to the promised land. Why? Because in order for this to work, you have to be in at least a 4-day fast. Start fasting a day or so before the moon goes into your sun sign, and when it leaves, you have been there for 4 days, and 40 is just 4 because 4 plus 0 is 4, and everything's just numerology and astrology. The sun's name is Sol. It is the solar system. You have a solar plexus. How important is the solar plexus? The solar plexus is you, essentially. You are a sun. You are made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. Guess what? So are the stars. But as above, so below. The stars are you and you are them. This also works directly in you. The sun is the dividing line. As above, so below. So be Leo. Leo is the sun. Leo is ego. Guess what else is ego? The number 9. Number 9 represents human consciousness. It represents earth. It represents you. The word Adam equals 9 in Hebrew. This is I will, I do, I speak, I see. It is the knowledge that you yourself exist. Anything below the solar plexus. This is 666. This is beast consciousness. 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. But if you raise the chrism oil up, shoot it up to the pineal and pituitary gland, well, that's 144,000. Multiply the number of petals on the Hindu chakra system by 1,000, you get 144,000. This is the 144,000 saved souls. And this only happens if you raise the Christos oil all the way up to your brain, get it all completed, and activate the right hemisphere of your brain. And this is Christ consciousness. There is no other way. There is only this one. If you give in to lust, if you give in to the food need, consume processed sugar, speak ill of your brother, the Santa Claustrum, the Santa Claus, is not going to give you gifts. He's going to give you cold. Because the Santa Claustrum will secrete this stuff called neuromelanin. It's like little black particles that go into your bloodstream, causing you to age, causing you to have chronic illness. If you've been naughty, you get cold. But if you're good and you do all of this stuff and you follow all of the steps, then your spinal fluid gets regenerated. You basically get all new spinal fluid. Your blood cells get regenerated. You get all new blood. Dead and dormant brain cells become reactivated. The right hemisphere of your brain becomes activated for the first time in your life. You grew up thinking that you were either right-brained or left-brained. No, everyone was left-brained. You have to activate the right hemisphere. You're not born with that. And this is why by raising the oil, achieving your Christ consciousness, following all the steps, Jesus will sit at the right hand of the Father. The Son will sit in the eastern sky. You'll be at a frequency of 144,000. You will have enlightenment. No, you're not gonna levitate off the ground. That's not what any of this means. But if you do it, you'll know. So give it a shot. Here's the steps. 1. Know what your sun sign is. Most people do. If you know where the moon is, know where it's going. Between full moons, the moon will travel through all zodiacs, all 12. When the moon goes into your sun sign, the process has started, but you want to know when it's gonna go in there so you can begin your fast minimum 1 to 2 days before. But what kind of fast? Only consume mineral water. If you must drink coffee, cool, make it out of mineral water. No processed sugars, no animal products, so no cream, no milk. The only thing I can suggest is coconut milk. It's the healthiest option you got. If you need a sweetener, use honey, use stevia. When it comes to food, no animal products, no processed sugar, only vegan product. But seriously, you don't want to do anything other than like berries and nuts. Keep it simple. No leafy greens and no animal products. No cigarettes or anything like that. No alcohol. No nutting. You cannot expel any type of sexual energy, men and women both. You have to give up the things of the flesh, the thing that the carnal mind wants, that 666, that beast consciousness. You have to give all of that up. Everyone has to carry their cross. Stay in a positive, meditative mindset. Meditate heavy. Is it easy? No. But nothing worth having ever is. I just got done with mine. And for those of you who ask how long does it take, it's only this 4-day process. Once the moon has gone into the next sign and it has left your sun sign, your fast is over. Grab you a cheeseburger and enjoy yourself.
이 남성은 성경의 이야기를 우리의 인체로 비유하며 해석하는 것이 흥미로웠습니다. 물론 이 내용을 받아들일지는 여러분들의 선택입니다.